Hello, everybody. Welcome to Summit 2025. Thank you all for joining me in what I'm hoping is going to be an amazing weekend of machine knitting. I'm sure that's what we're all here. I'm just going to let people in we're expecting quite a lot of people here. So give me a minute or two to let everybody in, get yourselves comfy, grab a brew. While I make sure I'm doing everything correctly at the right time. Lovely to see so many. Lovely to have so many of you signed up for Summit. I hope, sorry, I'm rubbish at doing and talking at the same time. I can't do it. I hope you're as excited as I am. This first kickoff meeting now is try. Just work out what's going on there. See what's going on. Sound issue. Does it sound okay now? Yeah, we're all good. Okay, good. That sounds better. Right, yes. So this first hour now with me is so that you can make the most of Summit this weekend. It is to show you where everything is, what's happening, how you can join a meeting or a class, how you can prepare for a class, what you can do in each of the classes, all that kind of stuff. And a quick show round of the Summit space so you know where everything is. And then for afterwards, so that you can access all the recordings as well. So that is what I'm going to cover in the next hour or so. And that's quite a lot to cover. So I've got a list here that I will try and make sure I don't forget anything. But as always, pop questions in the chat. If you've got questions, Steve's on hand. He should be able to answer a lot of those. And I can answer any at the end as well. So, nope, still people, wait 1 second. Oh, and the other thing I should say is we have a mix of people here. We are mainly MKC members here, which is brilliant. That's great. Lovely to have you all here. You obviously are getting Summit for free as part of your membership. We also have people who have joined us for the first time who have bought a weekend pass to Summit. So welcome to you guys. You're getting in a bit of an experience of what being a member is like some of the time on some of these live classes and events. And so you guys can access all of the same Summit stuff that I am showing you today. There's no difference between people who are MKC members and people who have just bought a Summit pass. You all get exactly the same stuff. You all get access to the recordings, and that's permanent lifetime access. So nothing changes on that. But we do also have some people here who haven't yet bought a Summit pass or they're not a member. And you guys, you get a chance to see everything that we've got going on in Summit. And you've still got time to buy a pass for this weekend if you want to join us for this weekend. And it will also show you a little bit of what it's like inside the community if you want to become a member next week, because we're open for new members next.
I forgot to put keys in my purse.
Let me.
Okay, so my thing is on. Okay.
Second. Right, I think that's it. Okay, so without further ado, let me take you into the Summit classroom. And so what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to take you in as a non-member. So as if somebody has bought a weekend Summit pass, because you will see exactly the same thing as all our other members. I'm just showing you the Summit space because that's what I really want to focus on to make sure that everybody can find everything. Once I've been through all of Summit, I will go back and I'll show members where you find that space in your navigation. But first of all, and I've got to work out how to do this, I go to my first navigation. Here we go. And whoop. That one. There we go. Hopefully you're seeing the right screen now. You should see a big Summit sign in the middle, and that means you are now in the Summit space. So this is what you will see if you bought a pass for this weekend, and you'll see there's a little left-hand navigation over here, and we're in the blacked out bit is the bit we're in, which is Summit. So this is called a space, and this is the Summit space that we're in. And if you look now on the right-hand side, you should be able to see 4 tabs along the top, we've got a welcome, a schedule, a feed, and events. And the events thing's got a little live button glowing there. And that shows that we've got a live event running right this minute, which is the one that you're in. But that will always have this little symbol on it if any of the other classes are running live at that point in time. But I will just show you what you get in each of those tabs. So on the first one here, you'll come in and you'll see this welcome screen. It's just a very quick introduction to Summit, what Summit is. And for those of you that aren't already MKC members, it gives you the details of how you can download the app. So you can still download that even if you're not a member, because it will give you access to everything you're seeing here now, also on a phone or a tablet if you put the app on there as well. So that's a good way sometimes if you're joining for one of the classes and you maybe want to have the handout on your phone or your tablet or something, then you can have the app open with that on it. And it's a good way to follow along. So that's the details there for the app. If I jump first of all over to the events tab right over on the right, this will show you all the events we've got lined up for Summit. These are the live events that are running. So as you can see, we're in this top one here, welcome to Summit, and it's got this little live box in the top right. And then after that, in chronological order, you have all of the other events. Now, this is showing in UK times because I'm a UK time user. So it automatically shows in my time zone. If you're somewhere else entirely, I did see Colleen here somewhere. So Colleen's in Australia. It will be showing her when she goes into this tab, Australian times. And equally, if you're in the US, it will show you the correct US, or if you're in Canada, the East Coast or the West Coast time, whatever your computer is set to. So you don't need to worry about calculating time differences. That's all done for you. But you can see the order of each of the classes. So you see the next one that's coming up is at 2 o'clock here with Victoria, where she's going to tell us all about her brand new book. So if for any of these you click into them, you will see there's a button here that says Zoom meeting on it. That is the link to the Zoom meeting. So if you want to join Victoria's book talk, you just come into this space a minute or two before the class is about to start, click on that Zoom meeting, and it will take you into the classroom. Someone will let you in and you'll join the talk. If you want to RSVP to any of the events, you can do. You just click on this and say whether you're going or not going. It doesn't make a difference for you being allowed into the class. You're allowed into any of the classes if you're in this space. All it means is that you will get a notification to alert you before the class is starting, and it also do that in your time zone as well. So if you're on very different times to us here in the UK, it might be handy to RSVP because you'll get notifications at the correct times and you don't have to calculate it. And then the link for more information will just take you to all the details of that class, which I will show you in a minute. So that is... So that is the event space. So that's all the events there. You can have a look through. You can RSVP to any that you want to. But if I now go to the feed to the left of this, our members, you'll be very, very used to our activity feeds. It's just like all the others. It's where anybody can post, ask questions, share photos, do any of that kind of stuff, but it's just related to Summit. So this would be a good place if you were, say, doing my yoke class tomorrow, my Fair Isle yoke class. Maybe you've got a picture afterwards for the yoke that you've designed. You could pop a photo in here, or maybe you have a question about it. You could put the question in here, tag me, and I will be able to help you with that question after the class. So that would be a good place for all of that. So that's the activity feed. And then the schedule is like a more detailed version of what I showed you in the events tab. So the details here are everything you need to know about the event. So let's say we go into Victoria's book talk next here. You'll find a bit about Victoria. You will find a bit about the book that she's talking about. And then there's a link at the bottom to the class. That just takes you to, in fact, I can show you what I was showing you a minute ago, the event page with the Zoom button to click on, the RSVP, all of that. That's all in there. If you go back on the left-hand side, you can see the navigation. If I click on the next one, that is now the details of Terry's class, which is at 3:30 today. This one was added in later than some of the others, so some of you might not have seen details of this class, but this is specifically for LK 150 users. So if anybody is interested in doing cool stitches on the LK 150, this is a great class, and it will tell you the details of the class. There's a PDF handout for the class. These will appear here. I've got PDF handouts for mine, which I will be adding in tonight in my class details section. So all of these you can go through, you can read the details, decide whether you want to join or not, have a look at what you might need to bring with you, because a lot of them are interactive classes where you can join in at the same time. So for example, Bill's class tomorrow on the garter bar, he suggests that you have a machine and a garter bar with you so that you can have a practice along with him. So all those details are in there. And I think that is most of everything I've shown you in the space. The only thing to tell you about is the recordings afterwards. Just as a reminder, everybody gets access to all of the recordings for every class, and they are going to appear in this schedule section. I'm guessing maybe once we've added once Summit is finished and all the recordings of all the classes have happened, that might change title to something like replays or something like that. But it's in the schedule section. And what will happen is, say, for example, Victoria's one, at the moment you go down here and it says click the link, that will have changed and there will be a link with the video recording there. So you will just come into this lesson and it will say you can watch this class by clicking on the link below. And there'll probably be an image, you click on the image and the video will start playing. So all of the recordings will stay in this classroom in the same order that they ran, with all the details above them. So hopefully that should be super easy for everybody to find. Actual MKC members, you will get an extra set of links in the section that has all of the previous replays in it as well, so that you have one place where they are all together. But if you want to just come back and look at Summit stuff, you come back to this Summit space, you look at this tab, which at the minute is called schedule, but which I think will probably become replays. And then you can click on that and you can watch all of the recordings. I think that's everything for the Summit space. Does anybody have any questions about any of that, or does it all make sense? And so, like I say, everybody who's in Summit, members, people who have weekend passes, you will also see exactly the same thing here. There's no difference. It's just where you find it, because if you look on the left-hand side, this menu is quite simplified because this is for people who aren't members but do have a pass for Summit. And so you see the Summit space, you see our announcement space, which is a bit like a bulletin board where we talk about anything that's going on in the community. And you've got three free workshops there that you can access as well. There's one on amending patterns for different gauges and tensions. There's one on blocking your knits, and there's one on Pilates for anybody who likes to have a good stretch before or after their machine knitting. Those are there for you to enjoy as well. And everybody who's just got a Summit pass, you can come back to this space as often as you want, whenever you want. It's all going to stay there. There's no time, anything on any of that. So that's all going to be there. So I hope that all makes sense to everybody. I'll just double check in the chat that there's any of the questions.
Just one about when we're going to post the replays.
How soon afterwards? We've guaranteed that they'll all go in on Monday. Katie is going to try and do some over the weekend as we're going, but the problem is you can't use Zoom to download the recordings when we're using Zoom to run a meeting. And because we've got so many meetings going on, there's only like short gaps of time to download bits in between. So everything will be up on Monday, but there might be some of the recordings might start to appear a bit before then, but just bear with us on those. Okay, so if everybody's clear on that, let me just double check, go back and see everybody and grab a quick sip of tea. Right, okay, so if everybody's seen the summit space, I now just want to show members where you find that summit space, because it was easy for the weekend people because they didn't have a massive navigation on the left-hand side. You guys have lots of other things, so I just want to show you where that is, and then I just want to quickly run through that schedule again so that everybody knows exactly what all the classes are. So let me make sure I go back to the right bit, which I think is this one. Okay, so I think, does that look right, Steve?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so what you're seeing here should look very, very similar to most people. You're in a summit space, you're on the welcome page, the event section looks the same, the schedule looks the same. The main difference is this left-hand navigation where you've got more of the options. Now, because I've already, or this member here has already signed up for Summit, their Summit is appearing in the My Content section. So that's the first place you can look for it if you're trying to find it. What you'll see though, is that My Content also has any of the other workshops or CALs or challenges or anything that you've ever done whilst you've been a member. So expect there to be maybe quite a long list to look through there. Handily, Summit should be the second item down, no matter how many you've responded to. So it should still be quite easy to find. You should be able to click on it there under My Content, and it will take you to the Summit space in exactly the same way. The other way you can find it is if you go to the Welcome section at the top, you have the MKC content library. If you go into there, this is where you see all of the content that is available to you as a member. It will show it to you whether you've joined it already or not joined it already. It's like the universal, all the content that is available. So this one is a special event. So you would go into the challenges and special events section. You would click on that Summit button. It would tell you about Summit, and it would tell you to click on this image here. And eventually you would just have this pop-up that tells you that you need to click access, which you do, and it takes you back into the space. So going that way to find Summit is 2 or 3 clicks longer, but it's your default. If you can't remember exactly where Summit is and you need to find it, just go back to the content library. And that's the same for any of our content. Whenever you want to access it, if you can't find it and you can't remember where it is, go back to this content library. If you know it's a workshop, you look in workshops, you find the workshop and you click on it and it takes you back in. Or if it's a workshop you haven't joined yet, you click on it and you join it, and then you can do that workshop. So let me just go back to the Summit for a minute to tell you about all the classes and what they involve. So we're in this first one with me, and I'm welcoming you. Hopefully that's fairly straightforward. As I said, Victoria is up next. So that is in about 45 minutes, just under 45 minutes. We will be meeting with Victoria. She has got this brand new book coming out. It's not actually published as yet. It's due sometime in October. So it really is hot off the press. And it's all about structural stitches. So it's a really good one for today, because I guess what I haven't explained is the way we've tried to structure Summit is have a different theme for each of the days. So today is based around the idea of hand manipulation and things you can do with your knitting machine without using punch cards and without using technology. So it's a very kind of hands-on day. And a lot of the stuff that Victoria teaches in this book is all about that. It's about shaping and short rows and hooking up stitches and moving stitches around. And I don't want to give too much away, because if you come to that talk, you can hear all about the book. Then that is followed by Terry Martin from the States, who will be with us at 3:30 UK time. And she is doing this class on the LK 150, and it's for scallop ribs and microcheck, but it's basically a way of doing hand manipulated tuck stitches on your LK150. That will obviously translate to any of the machines that you want to use. So you don't have to have an LK150 to follow along with that. But LK150 users do sometimes get a little bit kind of left behind on some of the things. So this is a class specifically for them. So that's 3:30 today. Followed very quickly after that with Amber. Amber Hards is doing a knit weave wall hanging class. So if that's something you're interested in, we have a lot of focus on knitting for garments. And actually, so Terry's is garment related because it's based around her latest machine knitting pattern. But Victoria's and Amber's and Rebecca's are much more about using your machine to create textiles or art or swatches or things that might not necessarily become garments at the end. So Amber is doing knit weave wall hangings. That's going to be lots of fun. Check there if you want to do that. She does have some details about what to bring to class if you want to knit weave with her as she's teaching. And then at 7 tonight, we have got Rebecca from the States as well, and she is going to be showing us how to knit faces. I don't know, a lot of you will know Rebecca already. She's a brilliantly talented creative designer. In her past, she did design a whole load of faces knitted on knitting machines, and she will be teaching us how to knit those. So that's going to be a lot of fun, and that will wrap up today. So that's a lot, given that we're into the afternoon already and we've still got all of that to come. So again, you can join as many or as few of those as you want, but the recordings will come if you can't make it. I know you're in different time zones, a lot of you. That's absolutely fine. Just watch the recording when you are able to. So that's day 1. Day 2 is much more around punch cards, although Bill's first class is a kind of hangover from day 1 because we're still on a bit more of hand manipulation really, because at 9 UK time in the morning on Saturday, Bill would be with us for a garter bar challenge. So I know loads of people are quite scared of their garter bars, don't like them, haven't found much success with them. Bill is going to be trying to help people overcome that fear of garter bars. So for that class, turn up with a machine and a garter bar for that machine, and you can have a go with Bill. Then it's me. I will be with you tomorrow afternoon, and I am teaching a class on the maths of designing Fair Isle yokes and how you get your patterns to match across your seams, how you get to match vertically, horizontally, how you can adapt Fair Isle patterns, and how you can design your own Fair Isle yokes. So that is happening tomorrow afternoon. Like I said, there's some things to bring with you for that one, some graph paper, pencils, erasers, and I will be adding a handout and some printables to that later today. And I will send everybody who's RSVP'd to that event, I will send you a message and let you know when they are there. So that's another reason to RSVP. That is then followed by an Ask Us Anything at 5 o'clock, which is a bit like a panel discussion, but there's going to be a group of us who use punch cards on different machines and in different ways there to answer any questions you've got about punch cards. So you can either send those questions in beforehand, or you can turn up and ask us directly. But if there's something, if you have a burning question about punch cards, tomorrow afternoon is the time to ask it. Again, if you can't join it live, but you do have a question, you can go down to the bottom of this class. There's a comment section here at the bottom, and you could just type in your question there and click the comment button. It will appear there, we will see it, and then we can make sure that that question is covered as well. And then finally, tomorrow, we have Kurt joining us all the way from New Zealand to show us about shadow or illusion knitting using garter carriages on brother machines. So quite specific, but for people who want to know about that, this will be really, really helpful, a really interesting class. And even if you don't have a garter carriage or a brother machine, it would still be fascinating to watch this, to see what shadow knitting is, and to maybe spark some ideas of similar things you can do on your machine. So that is Saturday, all wrapped up. Then we have Sunday, the final day, where we are moving into technology. And so we are going to start first thing in the morning with lovely Madeline from Edinburgh in Scotland. And Madeline is I don't think she'll take this unkindly when I say a knitting machine and maths geek when it comes to hacking your machine and using maths with your knitting and all that side of things. And so she's going to be with us first thing tomorrow to talk about how you can hack certain knitting machines, how that's been done in the past, any kind of future developments. She will be covering all of that tomorrow morning. And then tomorrow afternoon, we have Sarah Etchison with us. I know lots of you will know Sarah already. She has decades of experience with knitting machines, and she has been demonstrating and teaching on knitting machines, I think, since the 1970s, I think she told us. And she has seen the evolution of knitting machines in that time through all their phases. And she's going to walk us through how they have developed and how the technology has come on knitting machines in that time. Then at 7, we have a really interesting class with Diane Wharton from Canada. And Diane is going to be showing us how you can take a hand knit lace chart and recreate it in Designer Knit. So for anybody who uses Designer Knit, this will be really, really fascinating, useful class, especially if you're interested in knitting lace. But equally, even if you don't have Designer Knit, but you are interested in lace knitting generally, it's still going to be really, really helpful in getting your head around how lace stitches are knitted and how the charts work and all that kind of thing. So that's with Diane at 7 o'clock on Sunday. And then at 8:15, we have a round table where we are going to be discussing the pros and cons of some of these different software and technologies that we all use on our knitting machines. You've got a list of some of the ones we're, excuse me, going to be talking about there. We have a panel of people who use all of those to different levels. And we will be talking about the pros and cons of each and how we use them and what we use them for. And so that is the final kind of main event, but then we're going to wrap up at 9:30 right at the end on Sunday. I'll be back. This feels like a long way away at the moment, but I'm sure it's going to come around before I know it. Excuse me. But I'll be wrapping up at 9:30 on Sunday evening, just with a thank you to all our tutors, a quick roundup of everything that we've covered, what we've learned, get feedback from people on how they found Summit, and answer any final questions you've got, really. So that, in a nutshell, is everything that is happening in Summit. I don't think there's anything in the chat at the moment, so it doesn't look.
No, apart from Madeline claimed her geekiness.
Apart from what?
Madeline claimed her geekiness.
Okay.
Do you understand that?
No, I can't. No.
Madeline claimed her geekiness. So when you said she was
happy with that?
Yes.
Oh, okay, that's good. Excellent. I'm glad I didn't offend you, Madeline. I didn't think I would do. There's nothing wrong with being a geek, is there, Steve?
No.
Okay, so whilst I'm here then, and in the space for a MKC member, I'm just going to quickly run through.
Oh, you've got one question from Caroline.
Oh, yeah. Let's have a look. You have an electronic machine KH9, will the punch card talk be suitable for me to watch? Yes, Caroline, it depends which bits of the punch card one you mean. If you mean my class, it will still be very suitable in that I'm talking about the maths of how you get patterns to match up this way and this way. And even if you are programming that on an electronic machine rather than using a punch card, you still have to get them to match. You've got more flexibility because you won't be limited to 24 stitches. So you can kind of watch it and go, I don't need to worry about that bit. I don't need to worry about that bit. But you will still have to think about how you're going to get your patterns to match up and how you're going to design your yoke and how that all fits together. So that bit of it will all still be super relevant. I assume that's the talk you're talking about rather than the Ask Me Anything. The Ask Me Anything on punch cards, that won't be as relevant to you because it is going to be purely about what people want to know about using a punch card. But my one on yokes will still be helpful for electronic users? So that was a great question, Caroline. Thank you. Okay. So just while we're in here, I just wanted to do a very quick final wrap up, and I'm conscious of the time, of this space here that members see, because we've just very recently had our upgrade and reorganisation, and so a lot of things have moved around, and I just want to make sure that members are really clear about where everything is and where you can find things. So I've collapsed all my sections on the left now, and you should be able to see that that already looks a lot nicer and cleaner and easier to find things, because you just have 4 main sections. You have a welcome, you have a community hub, you have my content, and you have masterclasses. And the majority of stuff really can be accessed through welcome and the community hub. So if I go into welcome, the first section there is your start here and FAQs. That is much more for newer members, because that is where you will find articles and help about how to do things within the community. How to write a post, how to add hashtags, how to bookmark articles, all that kind of stuff. That is all in there. So for longer term members, you probably won't need to use that space very much, but it's great for people who are new to the community. Announcements, this is one of the spaces that does appear for everybody. And I talked about that before. This is like what we used to call the bulletin board, and it's just any announcements from Steve, myself, or Katie about things that are going on in the community. So everybody sees this, whether you're at the summit for the weekend or whether you are an MKC member, you will see this. And you can click on any of these articles and you can read them. So you can read about our Inspiration of the Month winner, which was Esther this month. Where it differs is that as you go down and read this article, Katie will have put a link to Esther's original article and everything. Now, if you are not an MKC member, if you click on any of these links, you will just get taken back to the previous page. You won't get to see anything. If you are a member, you click on the link, it will take you to the article. That's the main difference in that space there. And then you'll see that we've got the member awards tab at the top as well, which is just a list of everybody that won the awards over the previous months. Again, you can click on the article, everyone can see that. But again, if you click on any of these links, they will only work for MKC members. So that's the announcement space. Ambition track, I'm not going to, that hasn't changed much. So members will either know or won't know what ambition track is, but that's all there. And we are doing some changes to that are coming in 2026. So we'll be talking a lot more about it then. So I'll leave that for the time being. And then if I go back to content library, this is what you've all just seen when I showed you before. So this is where all of the content lives that you might want access to as a member. So you've got the workshops, and you click on any of those, it will take you to that workshop. You've got the knit-alongs, all of those. You have got the challenges and special events, and you've got the how-to videos as well. So the how-to videos, hopefully everybody knows about those, but that's where you get the kind of quick 5-10 minute videos with all the different techniques that we have videos for. So all of these ones here. So let me go back to the content library. So that's everything that's in there. This should be your first port of call if you're ever looking for content. You've got a section lower down called My Content, and the difference is My Content will only show you the things that you have joined or signed up for. So if you see here, this user has got the summit there, and there's a live event running in the summit. They've also signed up for these workshops, and they're doing the 12 months of hats knit along, and they did Reboot before. So all of this is there, but sometimes that list might start to get a bit long. So you can either look here for stuff, or you can go into the content library at the top and find stuff there, either way. So that's welcome. When you go into the community hub, they'd have 4 sections here. Member posts is what used to be the other half of our bulletin board, and it's where all our members post all their activities. So photos that you want to share, questions that you want to ask, any of that kind of stuff, that all goes in here. You can see everybody else's posts. So that's where you find that. We also have linked to the project tracker here for those people who are using that to track anything that they've knitted so far this year. Mine's not looking very good, unfortunately, at this stage. And you have the highlighted hashtags thing. This, for members, I really want to point out highlighted hashtags. This member makes one here is what we are asking people to add to any of your finished objects, so that when we come to do our awards at the end of the month, it's really easy to find them. So if I click on here there at the moment, it will show me any posts that have got that hashtag in them. So you can see, so there's Linda's that won for September, some of the previous ones. And at the minute, it's just showing me those that are in this space, the member post space. If I click that off, it will show me anything that's got that hashtag anywhere at all. So it's adding in a few extra bits, but not many. But you can also, let me come out of here. You can also search by hashtag. So if I want to search this whole feed here for anything to do with rib, for example, I can go up to the top up here and put in hashtag rib, see what comes up. And there's a few things here, not loads at the moment, but if I do go to any other area in the community, so I take this member post, I untick that, and that's now all spaces. It now brings up anything to do with rib in the community. So you'll see the classes, the how-to videos, the classes with Bill, buttonholes with Victoria, which had ribs in them. It gives you a much fuller list. So that is a good way of now navigating your way around the community. But that is why we would ask you, wherever possible, to add hashtags to any posts you write so that other people can find them more easily. We go to the live events and replays section. This has all been tidied up a lot for members. So it's now very concise. You just have this one list of live events. So this is everything that's coming up in the next few weeks. So the class next week is our 10th one for the 12 months of hats with a new designer. We've got momentum session. We've got our 5th birthday party coming up. We've got lace knitted. So loads and loads of stuff coming up. And then you've only got 2 tabs here. So you've got your future events, and then you've got all of the replays in one space. And you can see you've got them divided into different sections. So you've got the knit classes, which has got 71 replays in it. Meet the Maker, 36, blah, 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 blah. So you can go into any of those and watch any replay that you want from there. The only exceptions to this are you will not find any details for masterclasses here, and you will not find any details. Oh, you will find details of the summit, because we're gonna duplicate posting for that so that it's easier for everyone to find afterwards. But masterclasses always sit in their own section at the bottom, which I'll come to. But everything else, replays wise, is here. So if you want to find a class or technique to watch the replay, you just click in here, you pick the class, click on that, and the video is there for you to watch. So that should be easier for people to find. We have patterns and free resources. Some of these things have been here all this time, but because of the way we used to be organized, members might not have seen them as easily. So here we now have a list of patterns that have been released by some of our members, and some of them are available for free. A lot of them are there to purchase, but it will, if you look at mine, it will show you all of the patterns that I have published so far. New one coming very soon. It will be added in there, but each one will show you the details of that pattern and where you can purchase it from. So that's there. And then the member discounts tab is where anything will appear if MKC members get a discount from any retailer or anybody like that. So these are the ones that are current off my patterns, off machines that we sell. But as new discounts comes from time to time, we might have a talk from a yarn supplier, and they quite often give us discounts. As patterns are published, they quite often appear with discounts. So all of that appears in there. And then marketplace, again, this always used to be there before, but now it's got a bit more prominence. And this is where you can buy or sell machines, accessories, yarn, all of that stuff is in this space here. And that's the community hub. And those are the two main bits of the community now. So I'm hoping when you look at those two, you think, wow, that's so much easier to find things, because that was the main reason we did all of that. The exceptions are you've got the My Content bit here, which I've explained. And then finally, you have the masterclass bit, which is if you've purchased any masterclasses, they will appear here, and they are separate spaces. For anybody who doesn't realize, masterclasses are the only thing you pay for extra on top of MKC membership. So if you've paid or bought any of those, they will appear here. And any available ones appear here as well. So my new one that's coming out soon will appear here. But the others are there as well. At the moment, there's not many that are available to join. Hannahlee's has literally only just finished last week. That's still there. You can still buy Susan Gualiumi's. And I think that is it right now until mine is released in a couple of weeks' time. And then the Stoodley is being re-released with that. And then all of the others are being worked on and re-released as we get them ready, because it used to be the case that you would buy a masterclass extra on top of your membership, but then if you stopped becoming a member, you lost access to it. We now have the ability that we don't have to do that anymore. So starting with Hannahlee's, what it meant, anybody who bought Hannahlee's, even if you stop being an MKC member, you will still be able to come into the space of her masterclass and have all of that content forever. So you're getting lifetime access to all of that. So all of the masterclasses need to be worked through and made lifetime access so that you can still access them once you leave. So we are doing that gradually, and they will be added back in over time, and then will be available. And I think that is everything. Anybody have any questions about finding things in the community if you're a member? Let me just check back in. Hopefully it's now so much more organized and easy to find that nobody has any questions and can see everything. If so, the only things left to say, I think, oh, and I'm on time. This never happens. Hopefully this is a sign of how well this weekend is going to go. Yes, so all I need to say now is that Summit will be starting in 15 minutes with Victoria and her book talk. Members, you obviously all have access, and you should be able to know how to join that meeting. People who have a weekend pass, you all have access, and hopefully now you're very clear on how you join that Zoom meeting. If not, please shout and I will show you again. But you just need to find that event, click on the Zoom link, and we will let you in when the meeting starts. And we will be recording the meeting, and the recording will go in on Monday. Anybody who's here who isn't a member and doesn't have a Summit pass yet, but would like one, you can still buy a pass. And when you do, it will take you straight into that space that I showed you right at the start. It's £95 for a pass. That covers you for all of those classes. It also gives you access to the recordings and lifetime access to that space. And it also donates £5 from every pass that we sell goes to our charity of the year, which is Tools with a Mission. So that is brilliant. And I think so far we've managed to donate over £150 to them from Summit tickets. So that's really, really nice. So thank you to everybody who has bought a pass. That's good. But yeah, anybody who still does want to join us for Summit and doesn't have a pass as yet, Steve is just putting the link into the chat. All you need to do is to click on that link and you will be able to purchase your pass, and it will take you straight into that space that I showed you. The other thing to add is anybody who isn't yet a member of the community and would like to become a member of the community, we open on Monday. to new members. So if anybody wants to join us, then you can sign up as a new member from Monday, either annually for £195 or your local currency equivalent, or monthly for £20 a month, or again, your local currency equivalent. Anybody who's bought a summit pass this weekend for £95, you will be receiving an email, I believe on Sunday, possibly on Monday, but you will be receiving an email with a discount code for £95 off annual membership if you want to become a member on Monday. And then if you do that, you will then have access to all those other spaces that I just showed you. So, are there any questions?
I'm struggling to get the link at the moment. My laptop's on the go slow.
Okay, I can add the link as well, probably. So let me just type the link in. Oh, it helps if I spell community, right? You think I'd know that by now, wouldn't you? Community plans 1898255. Okay, that should be the link in the chat if anybody wants that. Right, just see if there are any other questions. Yes, Jacqueline, good point. The £95 discount is just for the first year. So basically, the thinking was all MKC members got Summit for free as part of your membership. People who weren't yet members had to pay £95. And it seemed a bit unfair that they would then come in on Monday and pay their £195 and they miss out on getting Summit for free by the sake of 3 days. So what we're trying to do is compensate them from the fact that they couldn't get free access to Summit. So we're basically giving you your £95 back that you paid for your Summit ticket, and that comes off your first year's annual membership. And after that, you go back up to the £195 if you carry on as a member at that point.
You can drop down to monthly.
Or you can drop down to monthly, correct. Oh, Heather's saying she'd love a beginner's DAT class. There might be something coming for next year on that, Heather. So watch this space. I have to say the wrap-up session that I'm doing on Sunday, I will very briefly, I will talk about what's coming up for the next 3 months, and I will drop a few hints about something big and exciting we have planned for 2026 as well. Trishy's saying, I love the reorg of the material. Great for new members and existing. Brilliant. That's great, Trish. I'm hoping so. We really we listened to all the feedback we'd had on people couldn't find things and they didn't know where to post and they didn't know how to post and all of that kind of stuff. And we've really tried to, with a lot of help from some of our existing members as well, who helped us with suggestions and feedback and testing. We've really tried to simplify things so that you can spend your time machine knitting and not looking for things. So that is the idea. Anyway, we have just under 15 minutes left until Victoria's class starts. So I think, unless anyone has any questions, I'm going to wrap up here. And then, because then I can just meet Victoria, grab a brew, quick refreshment break, and be back on. So hopefully we will see a lot of you in 15 minutes on the next meeting, and hopefully you all know where to find the Zoom link for Victoria's meeting. If you don't, now is your opportunity to ask. Otherwise, I am going to say thank you ever so much for joining me. Summit 2025 has officially started and the first class will begin in 11 minutes and we will see you there in the next classroom. All right, guys, take care. Thank you. Bye.